Here we go. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another Zagard-tastic stream. And it's I, your friend, the one, the only Z, a single Zagard. And I hope you're all having a wonderful morning, noon, night, evening, whatever time it is for you today. Welcome back to the Dragon's Den, my friends, and it is another wonderful, beautiful, magical Mondays here in the Dragon's Den, and we have some exciting-ish news coming up. So, as you all know, I've been playing a lot of Expedition 33, and I am multiple months behind finishing it. I should have finished it like over a month ago. But a lot of stuff keeps coming up, so things, it gets slowed down, and things happen, things don't happen. And I just wanted to, I realize this mic is still on. So I'm going to do my best to finish today. It's one of the reasons we're starting half an hour earlier than we do. I also want to start Silksong as soon as possible because it's fun, it's new. I know people will watch, and I'm excited. And next... not this upcoming Wednesday stream, but the next future Wednesday stream, we may start playing Hollow Knight with Andrew. It's up to him, up to the chat. I'm going to look at everything everybody said in the community post about what games they want to see, and we'll go from there. But I might just have us start playing Hollow Knight anyways, because it would be fun to have a Hollow Knight stream and a Silksong stream, feeling the different mechanics back and forth. Anyways, so those are two of the announcements. The other one is next week there will be no streams Monday to Friday because if you haven't been here, you may not know, but I have an extremely old PC. And not the PC itself isn't old. I actually built most of this bad boy like six or 8 months ago. However, the hard drives are all almost 10 years old. And I can tell there are some problems. I'm having storage problems. I need to replace my hard drives. On top of that, I might as well get it checked, have them clean it out with any dust that I couldn't get to, reapply the thermal paste. I'm going to upgrade the hard drives at the store. So I'm going to bring it in, and it's going to get all like refurbished and everything. And I'm assuming that's going to take at least a week because I can't assume that they're only working on my PC, And even if they do, that's like a 2-day, 3-day process, more or less, work. I mean, they could do it in 8 hours. The point is, I'm assuming I won't have it for a week. So next week there will be no streams. If you are paying attention, though, to the YouTube channel, I do have some premieres coming out next week that will hopefully fill your entertainment. They're highlights of the Keyblades of Sauces series, if you're interested, which I hope you are. And then we will get back to semi-regular schedules the week after that. However... So next week, no streams. The week after that, regular streams. And the week after that, I will be gone again for a while. Why is this? That was weird. For a second, you know how on when there's a window in Windows, there's that black bar at the top to show the window? For some random reason, it just out of nowhere, decided to disappear. So I was like, is something going on? Is it bugging? No, it's fine. Hollow Knight would be an awesome stream. Glad to know you guys think this guy keeps leaving us. He hates us. The memes. There is one other final thing I really want to do. So I kind of want to start doing like a chatting section of the first 30 minutes of the stream because I feel like that would be a fun thing to go through, and it'll be about like different things I see throughout the week about what people, different sort of gaming news or things like that. I don't know why I don't want to actually watch my own stream. Come on, game. Come on, man. So we are going to do what I'm going to call Zagard's Classroom, where we're gonna talk about some things. And the thing I want to talk about, because it has been in my head since last week, it is a conversation we had with Andrew. Bring back the tier list sections. Maybe I will. If we get big enough and people are actually interested in my personal opinions, I'll do it. But honestly, I mean, I could bring back like quick, in-depth analyses of things. Sensei Zagard. I like that one. Sensei Zagard. Zagard Sensei's classroom. That's how it's spelled, by the way. It's spelled CLACRUM. Classroom. And not because that's how they spell it in Japanese, but because I have dainbermage. So, I want to talk about how, you remember last week we were talking about the God of War live action TV show, right? Does anybody in chat remember that conversation we were having? And we had some people had some points back and forth. Most were about their personal desires, which makes sense. When it comes to a TV show, a movie, a book, a game, whatever, the um, subjective opinion about it is foremost and the first and the most important thing that you would think of when it comes to that. Sifu Zagard? Sifu Zagard Sensei. There we go. That just to make it extra cringe, you know? Got to add that extra layer of crispy cringe to the top. Sifu Zagard Sensei. I missed the conversation by a hair. Basically, for those of you who weren't here, as we all know, God of War is getting a live action. It's getting a live action TV show on Amazon, I believe. Let us do some double check in. Who is making the God of War live action TV show? Yep, it's going to be made on Amazon. And a lot of information is kind of up in the air about it. We know it's live action. We know it's on Amazon. I don't think we have any cast. Let's check. God of War TV show cast. Yeah, it looks like there's been no cast announcements. There would be a big thing from like Screen Rant right here if there was some sort of cast announcement. Yes, no solid news about it. So Screen Rant even says there's no news. And basically, Andrew said, I don't see the point. Because Andrew is the kind of person where if he's experienced a version of the story already, he doesn't see the point in remaking it. And sometimes that's true. Like for a movie like Space Jam. What makes Space Jam so unique and powerful and why people love it is because it had this feeling that you could only get in the 80s and 90s with a movie like Space Jam. Remaking that, you're going to be adding some... You're going to be trying to memify it too much because what made Space Jam interesting and entertaining was how silly and ridiculous it was, and then people memed stuff from that film. Whereas when they remade it, they tried to shove in memes and cultural references up the wazoo to really kind of sell it. And they were doing that back in the day too, but there was a different way. It's gotten more corporatized. Like, okay, this show is really it was hard. If you know what I mean, you know what I mean. Like, it's hard to explain it in pure numbers. There's just a feeling of why was Rick and Morty in there, basically, right? They're not Looney Tunes. Yeah, they're animated. Yeah, it's wacky, but it's not the same kind of mesh, right? Like, you can say the same thing about The Simpsons, Family Guy, Futurama. All that stuff is animated and wacky, but does it really go with specifically Space Jam? And the answer is kind of not really. It's not that wacky, stretched out, physical humor that you get with Looney Tunes and things like that. So Andrew, I get where Andrew comes from. He doesn't see the point of making a new God of War when you can already experience the God of War story in a really powerful way. However, that assumes that everybody enjoys the way that it's presented equally, which is not true. There are people who do not like the new God of War for multiple reasons, who have tried it. And there are people who are never going to try it. And you can say those people are lazy or they don't deserve it. But that's kind of unfair because, like, the first kind of argument I've been seeing is, if they want to experience the story, if someone new who doesn't play video games wants to experience the story, they should just watch the cutscenes online, a compilation of the cutscenes. And that doesn't work because the cutscenes aren't made separately from the game. They're made to be part of the game. That's like getting a puzzle and taking out 25% of the pieces and saying, "Oh, I finished it. I finished it because I did 75%. 75%." Most people who see a puzzle or do a puzzle, they want to do all the parts. Like, imagine if I, like I said, I had a puzzle and it was like missing huge chunks. Right? Does that look finished to you? No, you're missing huge chunks, and forcing an audience to watch it in this weird cut up compilated kind of way. While they will get the story, it won't flow and feel as well done as they would like, right? Like it's not going to come out the way that's going to work for new audiences. That's an interesting way of putting it, Yuki. Watching only the cutscene sends you straight to the ninth circle of hell. Okay, so then there's the accessibility. Not everybody plays games, and not everybody has time to play games. And on top of that, let's just go on YouTube right now, and look up God of War. What just happened? God of War, 2018. All cutscenes, right? That's a 6-hour sit through you have to do just to watch just the cutscenes for 2018. And even for some channels, it's cut down to 3 hours, maybe 4 hours. I can't imagine sitting down for 6 hours and then having to leave and then come back to it, leave and then come back to it. Even 3-hour movies are considered really long. When like Zack Snyder's The Justice League, that was 4 hours, and people were like, that was good, but we need to cut it down an hour. Endgame was really long, but that was the end of the series. It was the culmination of over 10, 20 movies, that story. And so we were able to sit with it at that point. And even 3 hours, some people were like, that was long. That was a long 3 hours, even though they loved it. So expecting people to sit down for 4 to 6 hours is a little rough. And again, you're not really getting the full experience. Second, right? It's like we should be able to choose, right? You should be able to choose if you want to play the game or you want to watch a show version of it. Now, let me get my brain back on track. I'm looking at notes, by the way. If you ever see me look over, I'm looking at notes I had written down to kind of describe my thoughts. But with God of War, right? Well, yes, you could, again, like we said, watch the cutscenes. I think making it into a show or a series of movies, show is obviously going to be better. It's going to be able to, it's a lot easier to get 6 hours of content. And plus, if it's going to be episodes, and we don't know if they'll be an hour long. Let's assume they'll be an hour long. That means we get 8 hours of content. That just means you get more God of War, really, if you think about it. Even if you already like the God of War story, you're going to get more. Now, they do have to actually be people who liked it. Look at Arcane. Look at Fallout. Look at the Sonic movies. Those are people who clearly like the original source material and understand it to a degree that a fan can see it and be like, I recognize that thing. Maybe I don't love it as much as or as more as the original, but fans can look at it and see that's basically the world of the story. These are the characters from the story. Without, they're changed a bit to fit TV shows or movies. Sonic's a little bit more of a kid in the movies than he is in the games. He's not perfect. But I don't see a single Sonic fan who's like, "Oh, this is terrible. This ruins Sonic," because it doesn't. It's not like the Avatar: The Last Airbender movie where it doesn't understand the storytelling or the world or the characters or the comedy. You know? My thought is if you're adapting a game into a movie show, you have to get the vibe and story right. It doesn't have to be 100% accurate, but recognizable as the game. I think I know what you're saying. I would only change that last word instead of recognizable as the game, but recognizable as whatever you're basing it off of. And I 100% agree with that overall thought. Because again, like it's recognizable as the game can be interpreted as different ways. Like, oh, does it feel like I'm just sitting watching someone play a game sort of thing? But that might be my brain being too literal. But I do know if I'm thinking it, there are probably a few thousand other people who are thinking it too. And then again, here's the other thing. And I had the argument of, well, if we can't adapt things, then everybody should have to only read Harry Potter, for instance. You can't watch the movies. Or at the very least, you can't just watch the movies. You have to have read the books too. And Andrew says, well, that's going to be, that's the fans wanting what they read to come to life. That's only partially true. And he also had the argument of 90% of people who watch that stuff or watch the movie adaptations are fans of the books. That's not true. We know that's not true based on pure, raw data numbers, okay? Castlevania doesn't completely adapt Castlevania 3, but it still feels like it's Castlevania. I haven't seen it. I'll take your word for it. And from what I've heard, that's exactly how it is. It doesn't feel like Castlevania 3. And part of that is because Castlevania 3 is made as a video game. The feeling of a video game, of enjoying a video game, comes from you playing the game a little bit, interacting with, being able to interact with the world in certain ways. Even if you watch just the cutscenes, there's a certain feeling of the way cutscenes in a game work versus how film and TV work. They feel differently. Same with TV, even from TV to film. You watch a live action TV show and then you watch a live action movie. There will not be a part of you that's like, that's the same. You're going to be like, it feels different. There's a different feeling to the experience. There's a different cadence. There's a different cinematography, acting style, direction, pacing, editing. It all comes out very differently when it's on TV versus movie. Like even, what's it called? Stranger Things. The latest season of Stranger Things, each episode was basically a movie, but it felt like a TV show. It didn't feel like a movie. I see the video games adaptation a way to get people to play games, or at least understand why it's loved. Well, the point of it, let's be honest, 100%, let's be honest. The point of adapting anything is twofold. The first is to get people who weren't interested in the original source material to buy the original source material. It's the reason they make anime. It's the reason they make manga. They make the manga so that way you'll read the light novel. They make the anime so you'll read the manga, which then gets you to read the light novel. Okay? They make the movies so you'll read the books. And why do they do that? Is it so that way the author feels more happy? Is it to help their ego? No, it's for the same reason that popcorn buckets cost $20 plus when it takes them like $5 to make them. Money. We always know every time a studio makes something, they make it for the incentive to have profit. And that's okay. Money is good for a lot of things. And getting profit means you can funnel it into newer, better projects or into the same projects and making newer, better versions of them. For instance, if God of War 2018 did not sell well, they would not have made God of War Ragnarok. We know that. We know that for a fact. If it had bombed, if only 100 people bought it, we wouldn't have God of War Ragnarok. That story would never have finished. But it did, and people loved both versions. Same with the game that just came out, Silksong. If Hollow Knight didn't do well, they would not have made Silksong. We know that this is how businesses work. This is how creation works. It doesn't matter how creative you are. If you don't have money to pay people so they can eat and work and make things, they're not going to. All right? And let's explain why we know for a fact that 90% of fans of things aren't the ones who watch it. Okay? So let's say that, what's it called? Harry Potter, right? Let's say the movie, books. Movies. Do you know how much let's say the books are each like $12 a book. Let's get me a eraser out. I'm gonna turn on some music so that way we can have some stuff playing in the background. Hey, how do I make this? I'm dumb. Why is the eraser so big? Oops, I want to go Cancel. $12 a book, right? And then movie tickets, let's say they're $2 more, right? I love the notepad. Thank you. So, $12 a book, $14 a ticket. Over 7 books and 7 movies, or 8 movies. We know that the overall amount of money that the Harry Potter books have made is something around 500 million. $500 million. That's nothing to scoff at. That's amazing. There's a reason it's the most sold book series in the world of all time. Okay, 500 million is a lot for a book series. Do you know how much the movies made in ticket sales? Can anybody guess? Anybody have any guesses? Anybody have any guesses? I'm gonna give everybody like 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, a billion. A billion. You're close. If I remember correctly, and I'm gonna look it up right now. Harry Potter ticket sales, all movies overall. Let's see, it's something like, let's see, that was 100 million. If I'm remembering correctly, I'm looking up my stuff. So this, so Harry Potter. So this is the marathons. The marathons alone made 1.3 billion. That's the marathon. So we're probably looking at like 2.4, if I remember correctly, $2.4 billion, right? Now, these numbers are a bit skewed, okay? We don't know how many people bought a book more than once. Like, you know people, I'm sure you know someone, or you personally have bought each copy of the book 2 times, right? Maybe you have one copy that was good and then a copy got all ruined, and so you bought it twice. You definitely know somebody who's bought every copy of the book twice. You know people who have seen the movie probably 2 to 3 times. I'll just say live in theaters, right? That like, okay, so even if you bought 2 times the copy, so that cuts this down from 500 million people buying it. Let's say it's $12 a book. Let's just round it down to 10, right? So 10% of 500 million is 50 million people. So even if 50 million people bought each book one copy, we then have to cut that in half. Let's say it's 2. Everybody bought it 2 times. So now we're at 25 million people buying the books. Then, let's say again, let's say people watched it 3 times. Let's say everybody watched it 3 times. And again, let's round this down to $10 a ticket, just to make the math simple, right? So at $10 a ticket, if everybody watched it 3 times, that means we have to cut this number down from 2.4 billion to 240 mil. And then we divide 240 by 3, right? So we'll do 24 divided by 3. That's 8. That's 8, right? 24 divided by 3 is 8. So that's 80 million people. Oops. 80 million people who saw this. Now, double 25 is 50 million. So let's do times 2. 50 million. That's still not even close to 80 million. That's 30 million under. That means over 2.5 times the amount of people who read the books saw the movie. Even if we divide it by 3, if we cut it down to a third of what it was. Sorry, what does 240 million people correspond to? Let's say, you know, if each ticket was worth, we rounded it down to $10, right? So then, and each ticket sale equated to 1 person, right? So we round this down to 10. And then 1 ticket. Oops. 1 person. Right? So we round this down to 10. 2.4 billion. 1/10 of that is 240 million. And then we have to divide that by 3, because let's say each person saw it 3 times. So that means a third of 240 million is 80 million people who went to see that, versus 250 million people who bought the books. That is not 90% of the audience that's seeing this. That's somewhere around... let's say... I'm not great at math, so I'm going to put this in a calculator. 80 divided by 25. That's 3.2. That's 3.2%. Both of them are more than the population of my country. Well, yeah, this is worldwide. So we know this math tracks because this is a worldwide. So that's 3.2%. Or is that correct? Let's see. You're good at math, Ukes. Let's look at this. What is the percentage? I did not write. Of 80 divided by 25. Did I do that wrong? I'm so bad. I'm so bad at this sort of stuff. So that's 31% of people. I majored in abstract math. So let's see. 25 divided by 80. Right? 31.25. So that means less than a third of all the people who read the books were the people who saw the movies. Why does this math matter? Why does this matter? Well, Andrew said that 80% of people, 90% of people who are fans of the thing go to see it. That is not true. Less than a third of the people who are fans of the thing are the ones who see it. So when you make a live action, right? So I'm going to keep this number here so I don't lose it, but we're going to erase this. You can go back in the video, pause, whatever. Nope, I don't want pen. People watching are fans. 90% of people watching are fans. We know that's not true because of this number. So we'll just put an X through it for wrong. 31% of people who watch are fans. That means that when you make a live action adaptation, you're not reaching for a 31% audience. You're reaching for that other 69%. That's why you make a live action. Did Discord just come back online? Let me just check the stream, make sure it's still good. Yeah, we're good. Okay. This is who you make live actions for. You make it for 69% of the population who has never ever read the books. They've never read the books. That's a huge margin. If each one gives you $10, right? That is out of $1 million, right? Is 16. That's $690,000 out of $1 million. 690,000. Not gonna lie, I'm kind of zoning out. This math is hurting my peanut brain. Don't worry, I'll be done soon. So just remember, we're aiming for, the reason they make a live action isn't for the fans. The fans, 39%. This is who this is who adaptions are for. For 69% of people, or 80 million. 80 million. Okay? So, a live action isn't pointless. A live action is a business move. That's why they do the live action, is to $80 million people, or 69% of the audience. We're just gonna put this over here. We're gonna save that. The rest. Now, again, that doesn't mean the fans aren't important. You still need to make a show. When you make an adaptation, you still need to be a fan or have fans of the source making it. And we know this is a fact. We know this is true. You cannot deny this. Because when you do, you get a, I don't know, Avatar movie. Right? You get Avatar movie or old Sonic. You get let's see, what are some other things? Oh, the Dragon Ball movie. Dragon Ball movie. So this is why Rings of Power and Halo show is bad. Exactly. Oh, Rings of Power. That's a good one. Rings of Power. Halo. This is what happens when you don't do that. When you say, forget that. When you go, I don't need that. When you say get rid of that, I don't need it. You get this. This is what you get. You get these movies that people only watch because they hate them, not because they're excited for your adaptation. And so the point is, my whole point here is that we need adaptations. We just need people who actually want to adapt it. Not just people who are like, here's $40 million, go make a movie that's going to make me $2 billion. You need a person who's like, I love God of War, and I want people to see the story of God of War. I mean, look at Last of Us. Season 1. People love that. People love Last of Us Season 1. They love it. They don't like Season 2. And you know why they don't like it? Can you guess? It's because people already didn't like It's because of this. This is why. It's not because it's an adaptation. It's because the story wasn't good. The people, remember, people love Last of Us Season 1. Everybody talked about it. Everybody who talked about Season 2 was like, it's not great. Not a fan. I don't like how they killed off Joel. I don't like this. Exactly what people were saying about the game. Exactly what people were saying about the game. The audience reception was the same. And it's not, and I'm not saying this to just shit on Last of Us. The point is that the people who made The Last of Us Season 1 and 2, they wanted to remake this and this. But this was loved. This was hated. Like if you made a let's see, what's a oh, I didn't realize I could erase the letters. Lol. That's pretty cool. We got Master Cheeks and Set Exact. So this is, yeah. The whole thing. So while, again, these two things, let me write out. Where is it? Is this just making layers? Oh my god, lol. That's how we're gonna erase it. Where's my eraser? There we go. These can work together. This is when you do this. When you do this, you get what am I on? What the heck? Why am I... Did I change some setting? This is my first time using this, by the way. I don't know why it's doing that. what is this weird setting? Whatever. The point is, when you do this, you can make it for this, and people will love it. When you do only for this, people hate it. When you do it only for this, no one watches it. No one. People don't watch when it's only for this. You need to do a balance. That's basically all I had to say. Let's get into Expedition 33 now. Enough trying to go on my tour. Look, now we have to drive, but still in chat for moral support. Thank you. Thank you very much. I don't know what I'd do without you here, Ukes. I just realized I didn't eat lunch today. Oh, no. Okay, I'm going to have to get a cleaf butter. Alright, I get cleaf butter while we wait for everything to come up. Got my protein bar. It's like cliff, but I got protein. Let me just move my keyboard. All right, I forgot we got all the swimsuits. Omega lol. What were we doing again? Swimsuit models, let's go. We had one more swimsuit, didn't we? Get your own bar. Why you always want my stuff, demon? You must be a real demon. Next, you're gonna try and come for my soul, ain't you?
Dragon Lord application.
Doran, thank you for subscribing for 81 months in a row. Oh, I didn't notice this here before. Or maybe it's not what I thought it was. I'm gonna check it, see if there's something over here. I see a vendor. Well, you can't have my soul. I already sold it. Mm-hmm. Newly born are fully decked out with the best fighting gear. Alright, let's try fighting him. Who do we want to use? We'll use CL, because CL can... Or we'll use Verso. What the heck? 3 against 1? I died instantly. No one saw that! Oh, nards. I guess I'll take Andrew's then. You think Andrew didn't sell his soul? He sold it to Mythology. Not a specific god, just Mythology. One day he woke up and Mythology was like, can I have soul? And he said yes.
Not impressed.
But why is Verso so tiny? I thought he'd be beefier. First of all, he's French. Second of all, why does he need to be beefier? Explain. Dude, I'm so bad.
Not impressed.
How does that not count? Okay, I'm not doing this again. Doduo. Shut up. Gotta fly. Flying is the most important. Is there anything over here I can get that might help me?
An advantage.
The answer is yes, there is something. I don't know, from this base outfit I thought he'd be beefed up. Guess he has a lot of padding under there. Well, I think he's wearing like 3 or 4 layers. Let's look at his base outfit. I don't know, he doesn't look beefy in his base outfit. Like, he's pretty toned. Yeah, I think it's just that he's wearing kind of thick shirt and a thick jacket. Come on, let me skip this. I've seen it so many times.
Been here in a while. This fair point. Oh, think I have a gold item. Do I have? Please help.
Gogra is so hard. She has such a weird combo. Oh, we got that one.
Ready to strike. No time to lose.
Might as well give ourselves powerful, you know. I fucked up. No one saw that. I don't know. No one saw that. Almost did it. Almost. We were so close, chat. Okay, I gotta relearn these patterns. This is why I'm excited for Silksong. Not because Silksong, but because I know I'll be better at it. sort of got it. If you if go to Dark Shores, explain farm and level up quick. Heh. What are you trying to say? Are you trying to give me a chance to level up? I love this music though. Expedition 33 has some bomb music, like 10 out of 10.
Careful now. Cut him down. You can do better.
Give ourselves some shield.
Just try it.
Not great.
You need it.
Gonna heal myself.
Careful now. The bitter dregs. Foolish move.
Did it great.
Proper challenge. Oh really?
Ooh, blocked enough of it. Okay, that's actually pretty good. Might as well put some mark on her.
Break.
I'm not on the right one for this, but I might have to.
Renoko, get ready.
I fucked up.
I would have lived. Thank you, my dear. My
messed that
favorite
up.
part. Let's finish this.
Might as well increase some of that bridge, you know. I know it's not by much,
Bring
but
it on.
oh, I almost did it.
That's the colour device. Didn't really need it.
I got pretty far. I got pretty far. Not gonna lie. We're getting there. We're getting there. All right, I'll try one more time. Then we'll do a little bit of grinding. Ads coming up in 3 minutes, everyone. Well, I pressed it.
Mayhem. Report once more.
Okay, I got that combo mostly down, so that's good.
No time to lose.
Let's give everybody some powerful. I blocked 2 of them at least.
From the bitter dregs. Once more now, with vigor.
I'm gonna heal myself.
Invigorating.
Okay, we're gonna reflect, so that's good. Reflecting does so much damage now. If we can get it off.
Break. Your turn to dance.
I just completely messed up there.
Time to bleed. Oops. Come back. Let's carve a path. Break. Minoko, get ready.
That doesn't do quite that much, but it does some decent damage. Silver was a hard fight. She is a hard fight. I'm gonna equip it once I get the Lumina. That's why I haven't equipped it yet. Okay, it would be better if
Your existence ends now. Just try it. My turn.
that's really bad. Yeah, I'll just do a rate. Ooh, wait, I can gradient. What's my level 2 gradient? High physical damage. What's it on? One additional reaction per hit. Applies reviving him if he dies. I'll save that then. That was real bad.
Sweet taste of black ore. Up we go now.
No, she has a phase 2. Oh no. That happened.
Filled with murderous rage.
No, I'm out of those. Okay. Okay, time to go level up. Okay, we'll go to the Dark Shores to level up. Where even are the Dark Shores? Oh yeah, by the way, do you know where I get the what's his name? Where am I? What am I doing? So confused. I'm all turned around. There we go. That's the way to go. The Minoko's swimsuit. Any ideas on where to get Minoko's swimsuit? I don't like over leveling too much. I know Andrew did that. Andrew over leveled a bunch, so when he did the last fight. We'll come back, Grolga. You jerk butt.